Myths, a Viking graphic novel, Thor vs. the Giants, by Bowen and Garcia. Conflicts of the Gods. The grim and glorious Aesir were the gods of the ancient Norse people. From their heavenly realm of Asgard, they ruled over the world of mortals and the lands of the dead. At the height of their power, the Norse gods had only one major enemy of note, the giants who lived in the land called Jotunheim. Ancient treaties kept outright war from breaking out, but no treaty could turn the gods and giants into friends. However, the fragile peace was occasionally broken by conflicts between the two sides. These conflicts often involved Thor, the proudest and strongest of the Aesir's warriors. Armed with his magical warhammer, Mjolnir, Thor is nearly unstoppable when his anger is aroused against his enemies. Loki, a giant with a gift for trickery, is often found at Thor's side during his adventures. Time and again, the two blood brothers challenge giant troublemakers. For Thor, it's all about bringing justice and honor to the Aesir and to Asgard. But for Loki, their adventures often provide opportunities to embarrass his brother. Friends and foes. Odin, the one-eyed All-Father and wise ruler of the Norse gods. Odin is the god of many things, including healing, sorcery, battle, and poetry. Thor, the red-headed, quick-tempered son of Odin. He is the Norse god of thunder, lightning, and strength. Loki, a small giant and blood brother to the gods, a clever and magical shapeshifter. Loki enjoys tricking the Norse gods and humiliating Thor. Thialfi, a young servant to Thor. The mortal son of a simple farmer, Thialfi sometimes helps the Norse god during his adventures. Geirrod, a nasty giant from the land of Jotunheim. Known as the Spear Reddener, Geirrod hates the Aesir and longs to tear down the halls of Asgard once and for all. Gialp and Grape, Geirrod's twin daughters. Like their father, they live to see the people of Asgard humbled and killed. Hrungnir, a giant ambassador from the land of Jotunheim. He drinks too much and often offends those around him. His most fearsome weapon is the clay giant Mokurkalfi that obeys his every command. Thrym, the dashing giant king of Greater Jotunheim. He is a rogue and a thief. His mind is set on stealing the most precious treasures he can imagine, the heart of the lovely Freya, goddess of love and beauty.
Odin.
Freya.
Loki.
Thor.
Geirrod.
Gialp. Grape.
Chapter 1. Gods and Giants.
In the days of old, Jotunheim was a land of bitter cold and shrieking wind. It lay across the river Ifing. Giants lived there. Despite their size, the giants were not so different from us. Some were good, kind folk, just like we gods of Asgard. But stories of good, kind folk do not interest me. I am Odin, all-father of the gods. In all my years, I have known many giants, and many of them were cruel, wicked creatures. Those stories are my favorites. But those tales do not belong to the giants alone. They also belong to my sons Thor and Loki. Loki himself was a giant, though a rather small one. I took him in as a baby to help create peace between Asgard and Jotunheim, between the gods and the giants. Loki often gave me cause to regret raising him as one of my own. Thor, on the other hand, was strong, brave, and tough. He taught the giants to fear Asgard, to fear us. My sons are gone now. I miss them terribly. But they will live forever in their stories.
Chapter 2. The Tale of Geirrod and His Daughters.
One day, Loki borrowed a magical cloak of falcon feathers from the lovely goddess Freya. The cloak turned anyone who wore it into a falcon. Alone, Loki flew to visit Jotunheim, the land of the giants. But once he crossed the river Ifing, Loki was spotted. A wicked giant called Geirrod saw through his disguise.
That falcon is not a falcon at all.
With a pair of tongs, Geirrod hurled a burning coal at Loki. The coal singed Loki's cloak. Its magical spell was broken.
Arg!
Loki tumbled from the sky like a falling star. When Loki landed, he found Geirrod and his daughters waiting.
You sly traitor to giants! Why have you come here?
Pin him to the earth like a bug, father. No, let's lock him in a casket and bury him like the worm he is.
Perhaps we will do both.
Loki trembled at the threat. His bravery deserted him, but not his wit and cunning.
Wait. If you let me live, then I will give you Thor. You would trade Thor's life for your own? Yes, I can bring him here. Kill him, and the power of Asgard will be broken. Very well. Bring him to me, but make sure he leaves his hammer, Mjolnir, at home.
Loki gave Geirrod his word. Then he returned home to Asgard. Loki found Thor at his hall Bilskirnir. In those days, Thor still trusted Loki.
Brother, I've just returned from Jotunheim. I met two beautiful giant women named Gjalp and Grape. I told them all about you.
Go on.
They want to meet the mighty Thor. Are you interested?
Absolutely. We shall leave at once.
Wait. You must leave your hammer behind. It frightens them terribly.
I hate to be parted from it, but I'd hate to frighten two lovely women even more.
The brothers set out from Asgard in Thor's chariot. They crossed Bifrost, the Rainbow Bridge, into Jotunheim. At nightfall, Thor and Loki stopped to rest at the home of Grid. Grid was a friendly giant. She welcomed them happily. After dinner, while Loki slept, Thor told Grid why he was in Jotunheim.
I know Gjalp and Grape's father, Geirrod. He is a wicked giant. He hates Asgard and all its gods. If you even look at his daughters, he will kill you. And where is your hammer, Mjolnir?
My brother convinced me to leave it at home.
Wait here. Where are those? Aha! These should help. This staff is magical. It is also unbreakable. These gloves are as hard as iron and as flexible as leather.
Thank you, Grid. I'm certain these gifts will be useful.
The next morning, Thor and Loki set out once more.
Why didn't I get any gifts?
You snore.
Soon they came to a river. The water was swift and cold. They had to leave Thor's chariot behind.
These giant women had better be truly beautiful, Loki.
You won't believe your eyes, my brother, I promise.
Many hours later,
this is their home.
What if Geirrod is here? Grid warned me that he's an enemy of Asgard.
You are afraid of a giant? I thought the mighty Thor was braver than that. Besides, Geirrod told me he'd be thrilled to have Thor, son of Odin, marry one of his daughters. Now get moving.
Ha! All right, brother. I'm going.
The house was dark and empty, with only a single stool for furniture.
Go on inside, brother.
Welcome, Thor. Sit, please.
Gjalp? Grape? Is that you? Don't be so shy.
Please sit down. We'll come out in a moment.
Ladies are so silly. Very well. I'll wait here.
As soon as Thor sat down, Gjelp and Grape emerged from their hiding place. They grabbed the table and tried to crush Thor against the roof beams overhead. Only Thor's quick thinking saved his skull from being caved in. That and Grid's magical staff, of course. Then, with a mighty shove, Thor pushed himself and the daughters back to the floor. Outside, Loki assumed his treachery was complete.
Sorry, brother. It was you or me.
But Thor still lived. He had crushed Gjelp and Grape in their own trap.
Sorry, girls. It was you or me.
With his daughter's trap foiled, Geirrod took matters into his own hands.
You will die for this, Asgardian!
Enraged by the death of his daughters, Geirrod hurled a flaming coal at Thor's head. But Thor caught the deadly missile in his iron glove and...
Ha! So much for giant strength.
Thor, you're alive? I take it that their father was home.
So he was. This whole meeting was a trap.
Wait, dear brother, please, let me explain. Yes, this was a trap, but not for you. It was a trap for them. You see, I knew you could handle them. That's why I took you to Grid's home first. She gave you exactly what you needed to survive, remember?
Aye, that she did. Because you're my brother, I choose to believe you, Loki. But next time, please tell me the plan first.
Of course.
And so the brothers returned to Asgard, leaving the house of Geirrod behind forever.
Chapter 3. The Tale of the Clay Giant.
Some giants became our enemies, not out of wickedness, but from stupidity. Hrungnir was one such giant. As the ruler of Asgard, I once invited him for a meal. He was a poor guest. He drank too much during dinner. Then he insulted me, and my wife Frigg.
This little old man doesn't deserve a queen like you. You should marry me.
I've had enough of this oath. Thor, throw him out of Asgard.
Happily, All-Father.
Unhand me, you Asgardian thug.
Quiet, you.
And don't come back.
I will be back with my weapons. Then you'll regret treating a guest this way.
I look forward to it.
The very next morning, my raven told me Hrungnir was on his way back. That foolish lout! He carried a sturdy stone in one hand as a throwing weapon. In his other hand, he held an unbreakable magic shield. Mighty weapons indeed. But before him strode his true weapon, a monster made of clay. Hrungnir had created it with his magic. He called it Mökkurkalfi. The colossal monster shook the land with each step. I sent Thor and his servant Thialfi to deal with Hrungnir and his creation. Thor wore his magical iron gloves. A belt of giant strength circled his waist. And in his hand he held his mighty hammer, Mjolnir.
Hrungnir's shield is going to make things difficult for you.
Aye.
I have a plan. You greet the clay giant. I will take care of its master.
Aye.
While Thor waited for Mökkurkalfi, Thialfi dodged around the clay monster to face Hrungnir. At the walls of Asgard, Thor greeted the gigantic clay monster.
That's far enough, monster!
With a single blow. With Molker-Kalfi easily defeated, Thor set out for Hrungnir. The Alfie found the giant first.
Thor has defeated your clay giant, Hrungnir. If you don't turn back, you will be next.
Ha! Even Mjolnir is no match for my shield, boy.
Thor knows this very well. That's why he won't attack you head on. Instead, he's digging through the earth to attack you from below.
Oh, yeah? Well, let's see him dig through that.
Hrungnir, as I mentioned, was quite stupid. When Thor arrived, Hrungnir saw that he'd been tricked. He hurled his stone weapon at Thor's head. But Thor hurled Mjolnir at the same time. It shattered the stone in midair and killed Hrungnir instantly.
What happened to the clay giant, Thor?
It should be here by now.
Yeah.
About time.
Chapter 4. The Tale of the Bride of Thrym.
Elsewhere in Jotunheim lived a giant king named Thrym. He was not hateful like Geirrod, nor stupid like Hrungnir. No, Thrym was devious. Thrym was clever. One night he crept into Asgard in secret, right to Thor's home. He stole Thor's magic hammer, Mjolnir, as Thor slept. The next morning.
Robbery!
Brother, what is it?
Mjolnir is gone. Stolen in the night.
Perhaps you just misplaced it?
I did not. Look, the thieves' tracks are right outside my window.
So they are, and they're giant-sized. I bet they lead into Jotunheim.
Then that's where I'm going.
No, brother. This could be a trap. I have a better idea.
Loki first visited Freya in her hall, Hrungnir, to ask for her help.
Why should I care?
Thor's hammer is Asgard's greatest weapon. He needs it back. Without it, we're all at risk.
Fine. You can borrow my falcon cloak to look for it. It's over there. Just be more careful with it this time.
Of course. You can trust me.
Loki soared over Asgard, following the thief's tracks. The trail took him across the river Ifing, deep into the giant's land. At last, it led to the heart of Jotunheim, Thrym's castle.
Oh, Thrym, a fine day for a long flight, eh?
Skip the chit-chat, Loki. I know why you're here. You want Thor's hammer back, don't you?
Yes, thanks. Do you have it here, or shall I wait for you to go get it?
I'll gladly give it back, but I want something first. Bring me the goddess Freya. I wish to marry her.
Great.
Loki returned to Freya with Thrym's demand.
Absolutely not.
Freya, please reconsider.
Loki, I'm already married.
So what? Well, I tried.
Loki had no choice but to tell the rest of us what had happened. We held a meeting in my own hall, Bielaskov, to discuss it.
That is his demand. He'll only return the hammer if Freya marries him. Otherwise, Mjolnir is lost to us.
I'll tear his castle down with my bare hands and take it back myself.
No, I forbid you from starting another war with the giants. Freya, will you not consent to this? For the safety of Asgard?
Never. Thor may marry Thrym if he wants that hammer back so badly.
That's not a bad idea, actually. May I suggest we disguise Thor as Freya? That way he can get close enough to the giant to get Mjolnir back.
I like no part of this plan except the end.
Oh, come now, brother. I would do the same for you.
No, you wouldn't.
After much arguing and excuse-making.
It's for the good of Asgard, after all.
Fine. Let's just get this over with.
Loki and Freya dressed Thor in a bridal gown and hid his face behind a veil.
I look ridiculous.
What does it matter how you look? It's what's inside that counts. We're ready, Allfather. What do you think?
I couldn't be happier. After all, every father dreams of the day his daughter goes off to be wed. When the disguise was complete, we sent them off to Jotunheim. They took Freya's chariot over the Rainbow Bridge, Bifrost. Their journey was long but uneventful. Eventually they arrived in Thrym's castle.
Finally!
They found all of Thrym's family gathered there. He had prepared a great feast. Thrym greeted his new guests with great excitement. He invited them to join the party. Thor and Loki took their seats at the giant's table. Somehow, no one could tell that Thor was not the real Freya. As Thor ate, however, Thrym grew suspicious.
Your appetite is impressive for one so small.
Lady Freya's journey was long, King Thrym, and she is excited to marry you. Normally, she's a light eater.
Convinced by Loki's lies, Thrym leaned over to kiss his bride-to-be. What he saw when he peeked under Thor's veil, however, gave him pause.
Does the Lady Freya have a beard?
Not at all. Freya is just dirty from the long trip. She will bathe before her veil is removed at your wedding. And if I may be so blunt, my king, you've also had a lot to drink tonight.
Oh, yes, perhaps you're right.
Thrym kept his hands and lips to himself after that. When the meal was finished and the kiss forgotten, Thrym stood up to address his guests.
Friends and family, we gather today not just for a feast, but for a wedding. Today I make Asgard's loveliest woman my wife.
If you don't mind, Your Majesty, may I have Thor's hammer back now?
Of course. Someone bring Mjolnir to Loki so he may return it to Thor.
Upon seeing Mjolnir again,
I have had enough of this. Look upon me, giants! Mjolnir is mine, and mine alone!
That's Thor?
In a dress?
Consumed by his rage, Thor made the giants pay for their theft and mockery. There were no survivors. When his fury was finally spent,
so much for the supposed power of giants. Loki, where are you? I didn't kill you by accident, did I?
I'm fine. How are you? Are you feeling better?
I am weary. Weary of this plan, this dress, and this place. Let's return to Asgard and be done with this nonsense.
Agreed.
Freya will not be happy with what I've done to her dress.
She'll get over it. She has nearly 1,000 of them after all.
You're a good brother, Loki.
Thank you, my brother.
You're welcome.